It's going to be very interesting. I've seen very little of Deathblood's play. He's actually been Deathblood is a really nice guy. He's been helping me with admin a little bit during these tournaments as well, actually.
Oh, cool. So, a little nod and shout out to him.
Definitely.
To explain real quick what was said there, because I guess some people were confused before hopping in the game. Unfortunately, subscribers don't have ads removed. What I was talking about was if we get 50 for the month, we're currently at 48. That's when I'll stop running ads. But we're at the end of the tournament, so it doesn't really matter anymore. At any rate, spawning in the lower left corner in the finals, the grand finals of the Starbow Ladder Cup #2. Ladies and gentlemen, with honor, I produce to you, or present to you, the red Protoss player, rsvp.
And in the bottom right corner, spawning in the manly pink colors, we have J-Move's Deathblood, whom is a little less known, I feel, than rsvp, but it's going to be very interesting to see. It's going to be a Zerg versus Protoss, which I'm very happy about. There's been a lot of PvTs today, and there's been some complaints about Zerg being Imba versus Protoss, so let's see if that's true or not. Well, we're not going to see that today, but...
Okay, from my honest, because the thing is, guys, I'm not as invested in Starbow as a lot of like Zephius. Or sorry, how do I say your name? Zephius.
Zephius is cool.
Close enough, okay. Because I was calling you Cyphus earlier. I'm sorry. So my brain's all mixed up. Anyways, the point is, I'm not as closely as invested as him, so I'm not quite sure the very specific mechanics of the game. But from my like sort of outside perspective, the more casual view is, I kind of feel the problem it doesn't lie in Zerg so much as it does Protoss players. Because every matchup I've watched of Starbow, every Protoss player gets stuck in gateway tech, and it's always just, stalkers, or sorry, dragoons, and just zealots. But last week we got to see some stalkers integrated in. We got to see rsvp, who is a player who is a man of many talents, but he decided to go for some Stargate tech instead. I mean, I think this will not be your typical PvZ, in all honesty.
Yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully rsvp can mix it up, and he's very good at doing that. And Stalkers right now, in current implementation, are quite strong in both versus Zerg and especially in PvP. So it's going to be interesting to see what they go for. Just also want to just mention out there that this is Starbow has a running ladder. If you go to starbowmod.com, you can ladder Starbow yourself. It's completely free because StarCraft 2 is free to play with the starter edition. And Starbow is on the arcade, and you can also use the chat function of the ladder to chat with other people and play ladder games, of course.
Yeah, so it's kind of nice if you don't want to drop 40 bucks on Heart of the Swarm, but you like what you're seeing, and you're like, hey, or even if you already have Heart of the Swarm, you want to play with Goliaths, like just go give Starbow a try. It's free and it doesn't hurt.
There's nothing more satisfying than watching lurkers just kill tons and tons of Marines. So you can do that.
Even as a Terran player, I gotta admit, sometimes that looks pretty darn good.
They die so fast. It's just, oh, it's beautiful.
One thing that's actually, I think, I wouldn't say amazing per se, but quite interesting to note, guys, is Zerglings and Starbow, when fully upgraded with their adrenal glands, they are so good compared to regular StarCraft 2, even against Protoss. Because normally you're so used to seeing like a couple Zealots get made, they deal with any amount of Zerglings, no problem. But that's not the case in Starbow.
Oh, I like what rsvp tried to do there, but he failed a little bit. He tried to sneak a second probe out, because you really want to scout versus Zerg, and here we have it.
That's gonna work out anyways. The first probe just goes back.
Oh wow!
So
okay, that's
it's
really
like some
cute.
Counter super mind game logic is what's happening.
Oh, but rsvp, has he seen if there's a third base or not? He has not. Okay, he's going to check this location first. He's of course not going to see a third base because the Hydra den is up, and there's going to be a Hydra bust incoming. It's very normal to do, especially if you feel a little bit intimidated. I think Deathblood feels a little bit intimidated playing versus rsvp, so it's definitely going to be a Hydra bust incoming. I think rsvp should be good enough and wise enough to spot this, especially with the scout. And the counter to this is just a bunch of cannons and just slowly taking to speed lots, and maybe some High Templars with Storm as well. But you need
cannons, they're really on a clock though. They're like spine crawlers in this regard, where they'll just buy you time. They're never gonna like solidify your defense. I mean, last week we got to see like 11 cannons go down in a natural base, and Hydra still took them out with some nice hit and run tactics. So
yeah, that is true, but it's still your best bet though. I've seen people try like Stalkers and Dragoons versus Hydra busts, and it doesn't work that well. No, you really need the speed lots, and you need a critical mass of them, and you need the cannons to buy time. And there we go. He's gonna add one cannon more in good grammatical syntax already.
Well, if you know how to use the word syntax, chances are your grammar is perfectly fine in the first place. But curiously enough, we see Stalkers being made right now. And to explain Stalkers to people, because you really don't see this too often in Starbow, you're also used to seeing Dragoons throughout the course of the day. They're they're weird units. They've got Blink, which is really nice, but they don't do nearly as much damage as they do in regular StarCraft 2. So in that regard, they're a bit funny to see. But Very mobile, very maneuverable. One cannon goes down immediately, and these Hydras are doing work, and it's only a small amount of them.
Yeah, and he's nice. He got the chrono boost on the cannon. Still wasn't enough, but he got some more juice out of them than he would have normally. These Stalkers will be able to micro well against the Hydras for a while, but right now he's just outnumbered heavily.
Did it even? I don't think he even got a shot off that cannon, even though he chronoed it.
No, not the second one, I think, but the first one he did.
Yeah.
But he needs to pull some probes here. I feel. Okay, there's two more Stalkers
5
coming.
Dragoons. Yeah, 5 Dragoons in total with some good blink and some decent control. He should be able to deal with this. So he's driving the Hydralisk back, but it's weird to see him actually go for the Blink Stalkers actively as a response to this, because it's normally charged Zealots you see, or sorry, leg enhancement Zealots you see that are the response to this.
This is the good thing about going Stalkers, though. If you can actually get a good mount up, you can pick off the retreating units as well, so they kind of add up very nicely that way. Almost feels a little bit dirty. It's like only dirty pros unit we might have in Starbow.
Well, Queen's getting enraged here with some Hydra, should be able to drive these back. Again, the key thing about Blink Stalkers too, guys, and I am such a dummy for not knowing this, they actually come equipped with high ground vision in Starbow, so they'll be able to blink up here to the main in a sec if they want. And this looks like what RCB is getting prepared to do.
Threatening with it. He wants to pick off the Queen. The Queen is armored, is it not? So that's going to take forever to pick off.
Well, manages to blink away with the Stalkers. Still alive for the time being, which is kind of key. What's nice too is, well, Lurkers, they're not bad versus units just generically on the ground. I mean, technically anything that walks over them has the potential to die. The reality is Blink Stalkers are going to be able to maneuver around their attack. Ooh, but taking a fight unfavorably. He's got to be careful.
The numbers game versus Hydralisk are not very good for the Stalkers, but it's the blink ability, potential. There we go.
Yeah.
Maneuverability and blink potential. It turns into one weird word when I say it fast. So and that is really what's going to keep him up there. Oh, picks up.
I like this control of rsvp though. This is not too dissimilar from what you see in regular StarCraft, where you just go with the intense blink micro to deal with Hydralisk damage. But that being said, I feel like this charge coming out is so delayed. I mean, he's still gonna hold against the Hydralisk push like this, but like charge should have been done forever ago.
Well, he's been holding with Blink Stalkers for a while, but what I like from Deathblood is that he's not actually all-inning this. He's taking a third base, he's getting a Lurker done, he's trying to get something done, but Lurkers they're good for containment, but they're horrible versus Blink Stalker because they're so immobile, so you can just blink over containments and just blink into bases and do horrible damage. And what I've seen actually if some Protoss players do is just get a huge group of Stalker and just blink between bases and be super annoying and kill tons and tons of drones. And I play Surg and it's so annoying.
Well, we finally have the Lurkers coming out. He's going to be able to set up a contained at the very least. And the nice thing is, even though if you do, like describe, blink past the Lurkers and just trying to maneuver around the map, the reality is, the Blink Stalkers are not the biggest set in the world.
No, they're not going to take... They don't blink as long as they do... Or they don't think they have as long blink range as they do in StarCraft 2, and they take a lot of damage from Lurkers. So they're going to get... They're probably going to be able to blink over, but not with a lot of health left.
And even the charge slots, I mean, the nice thing about Zealots is at least they can be tanky enough to soak some hits, but he's got to go through his own choke to get here.
Is he going to stop +1? That would be crucial.
Oh my god, it's going to be close.
Chrono!
2 seconds, he loses it. Doesn't get the +1, denied. That's really going to hurt moving forward here for rsvp. The nice thing though, actually, Deathblood's actually kind of helping by clearing out this opening. Now he doesn't have to funnel into the Lurkers like he would before.
Oh, he's getting the Observer, but at the same time the Overseer is incoming, and he could try and snipe it as soon as he gets out there. So he really needs to keep that Observer alive. That's so important. And here he goes on top of the Lurkers with the Observer incoming.
He's trying to keep the Observer alive. He's going to push this back a little bit. Looks like if he gets that last Lurker, he'll finally break this container. He can put those probes back to mining, but... for rsvp, actually, the strength in this lies in the fact that a lot of this was Zealots that he lost here, not like this wasn't expensive Reavers, this wasn't expensive Dragoons, just simply Zealots. But the problem is, he doesn't have anything left. The Hydralists are pushing in. He may have cleared up the Lurkers, but at what cost? All these probes are stacked up and running.
Man, if Deathblood takes this first game, especially going to be an interesting upset. Like, he's completely unknown, and rsvp, at least in the Starbow environment, is a lot more known.
Yeah, he's the favorite coming into this by and large, but one Lurker is keeping all these workers from mining. It's nice that he didn't lose a lot of the probes. This only 6 have died so far, but does he even have detection still? Where did that Observer go?
I would have loved to see him make a couple of Lurkers on the ramp and then just go and kill the Nexus instead, because that only gets the Stalkers down from the ramp. The Lurkers take the Lurker eggs take an infinite amount of shots before they die. That's a really cool little trick that you can do there.
That egg armor, yo. Too strong. Alright, well, we'll get
Still
to Dragon Tail
that awkward moment when we both say stuff at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah, he is, and I think that this is kind of rsvp's standard procedure when he's behind, is just go DTs and see if he can do some damage. And he did pick off the Overseer, and he's not sending a new one. Oh no, he is. Never mind.
The Templar going to be picked off, sadly. I do like the incorporation, though, of the Templar tech units. I mean, whether it's an Archon to soak hits or deal a ton of splash damage to the units like Hydralisk, which are, oddly enough, one of the few units in Starbow that seem to clump. I mean, they're going to be quite nice to have. The reality is, though, sticking with just Zealots will only last for so long. Lurkers will always trump the ground.
Yeah, he's gonna need Storm. He's gonna probably need some Dragoons even, and especially some Archons to try and, you know, deal with this army. Archon's not the best versus, you know, Hydra Lurker though, but... Ooh, this Observer, yes, good. He sees he needs to get out of there. It's a lot of Lurkers.
Gets on top of Lurkers right away. Okay, here's what I gotta ask. Terran players do splash damage, and it makes sense. Why do Lurkers not splash damage? These are giant literal spikes piercing through the Hydras. Nice Storm's though, gonna thin out the herds here a little bit, but unfortunately still too many Lurkers for the Zealots to engage on top of.
Oh, he's gonna get the Observer. No, he doesn't. Okay, he's making the Archons now as he emptied out the Storm. That's a good choice. But man, Deathblood has a really strong push here. I don't know if rsvp has the units to defend versus this. It's gonna take one Observer.
Good hits though on the Hydras, but it's the Lurkers that are the true problem beyond this.
And he needs to micro the Observer so far away that the Archon doesn't see anything anymore.
That could be game. He just lost the Observer. He's got no detection at this point.
Well, the probes. But yeah, to answer your spy question, of course the natural answer is it would be impossible to use Lurkers.
There's StarCraft logic that just can't be touched.
Yes, I definitely see the logical flaw there though. Huge spikes coming out of the ground. It's like, it's all cool. We're fine.
Well, I just moved to the side a little bit. But okay, actually, I said this could be game, but I actually don't like that he chose to make more Lurkers here. I kind of feel like if he just kept pushing with the Hydralisk, he could have killed this Nexus, but now he doesn't have the DPS for the Nexus.
Oh, but here we go, man. He's gonna burrow these Lurkers, and this is gonna be it, I think.
Oh, the probes, the probes! Oh, okay, he pulls them back.
But yeah, I wouldn't like to see them make those Lurkers actually on the ramp, so he could have blocked out part of his army and just gone for natural. But he really wants to go for the throat. He doesn't want to kill the natural at all. He just wants to go into the main and just kill rsvp now. He's kind of a little bit hungry for blood, I guess.
Oh, his name is Deathblood. Take out all the pylons. If he takes out the pylons, that's it. I mean, these gateways are the lifeblood of rsvp. The only reason he's still in this game is because he's trickling out Dragoons, he's trickling out Dark Templar, but the second these pylons go down, the second the gateways go down, that's pretty much game.
He's making High Templars, but that's just not going to do anything now. They don't have the energy they need when they come up, and there we go.
Depowers so many buildings.
Man, rsvp fighting to the last drop, though. I'll give him that.
So let me ask you this while we get out of the game here. What do you think? Reavers versus Hydralisks?